Let's first welcome to the ring from Tanzania, Pius Mpenda, JR9.
Pius Mpenda, a 16-fight veteran coming off a unanimous decision win over coming off a unanimous decision win over Shabani Indaro back in May. A little bit awkward style. He's long though, Sergio, and wants to try and make this fight maybe a little ugly to get the win.
Long, but he's faced nothing but good fighters with good records. So that goes to show that even though Porras is 13-0 with 9 knockouts, and Mpenda does have some good names on his resume. He has some good records. So this should be a nice test for the Mexican tonight.
Pius Mpenda has been keeping a very positive attitude all week, always seems to have a smile on his face. Let's see if he'll still be grinning ear to ear after this fight's over.
Yeah, Todd, obviously not a lot of fighters from Tanzania, right? But one I can remember is Rogers Matagwa almost knocked out Wamba Lopez in a title fight in 2009. That was a war.
And now let's welcome to the ring from Mexico, the undefeated Julio Diamante Porras.
He's called the Diamond, and he's got a shiny record, Sergio. 13 wins, no losses, 9 wins coming by knockout. He's a big boy. You don't see a ton of super middleweight Mexicans, perhaps, other than Canelo Alvarez.
And Zurdo Ramirez, who started his career at 168. But yeah, you're right. Mexicans are getting bigger, and they're fighting in taller, higher weight classes, and they're fitting in nicely because they have the power and they bring the technique behind it.
Yeah, Sergio, when I think of Diamante, I think of Raul Marquez, former title holder, broadcaster,
and Olympian, U.S. Olympian. Shout out Raul Marquez.
No love for David Diamante, anybody?
There you go.
Good one.
Well, he's all business. Pius was smiling. Porras looks like he's about to get in a fight. He is about to get in a fight. So you got the classic pressure versus distance. Maybe geography decides the winner here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the super middleweight division. Brought to you by Riyadh Season, Sella Ring Magazine, Frank Warren for Queensberry, and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing. Along with their premium partners, Saudi Tourism Authority, STC, Saudi National Bank, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, and Saudia. Their strategic partners, Meyer United, Arroyo Cruises, Sadia, Lucid Motors, SHG, and Azure. Their main partners, Pepsi and Arena Fitness Innovation, and their commercial partner, Prime. The judges are Mike Fitzgerald of the United States, Pavel Hennick of Czech Republic, and Mike Ross of the United States. Our referee in charge will be Leszek Jankowiak. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing gold with black and white and weighed in officially at 166.12 pounds. Coming to us from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. He brings a professional record consisting of 11 wins, 4 defeats, 1 draw. 5 of his 11 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pius Mpenda, JR9. 9. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with silver and weighed in officially at 167.9 pounds. Hailing from Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico, he brings an undefeated record with 13 wins. 9 of his 13 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Julio Diamante Porras.
Boxers, you received my instructions in dressing rooms. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Everything from bed line and up is okay. Everything from bed line and up is okay. Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
Once again, Jose Benavidez Sr. in the corner. This is his second fighter of the night. He has the main event, obviously, of course, as well, with his son David in action. And Porras coming off a first-round knockout in his last fight against Isaac Torres. You know he'd love to get another one here.
And the height difference is staggering right here in this weight division. But you could see it, I could already tell that he's fighting responsibly tall. You know, he didn't come looking for that right hand on the shorter fighter. He's actually the one backing up, you know, flicking that jab, wanting Mpenda to throw something and fall off balance.
It's got to be some kind of record, right, Sergio? 2 fights already with Mexico versus Africa.
Yeah. And much taller Mexicans. Good body shot. See, that's what I'm talking about with responsible tall fighting. Bending your knees like that just to go to the body of the shorter fighter. You know, when you're that much taller than your opponent, you got to fight responsibly tall. You know, you can't just stay in one height. You're bound to get timed.
Well, Sergio, you talked about this before, that Mexican style is getting a little more culture with Zurdo Ramirez kind of leading the way. It's not just, I'm tougher than you are, I'm going to outwork you. It's a little more refined.
New school Mexican style is what I call it. And we've been seeing that ever since Eric Morales. We know he was a warrior, but he can also box. And, of course, Canelo Alvarez and so many others. And Juan Manuel Marquez, actually, he was the one that I first realized this guy was a warrior, but he had technique, he can box. And I think more Mexicans are picking that up to extend their career and become champions in multi-divisions.
On the back of Porras' trunks, it says Ezekiel 3:9. Interesting Bible verse to choose. It starts out with, I will make your forehead like the hardest stone, harder than flint. So I guess he's got a
hard head?
Hard head, yeah. Or he wants a hard head. He's praying for one.
You know any more Bible verses?
Jesus wept.
Okay. Jesus tonight.
Porras, undefeated, 9 knockouts. A lot of fights.
Good jab.
Boy, Pius and Mpenda finally throwing something, but he's got to get much closer and throw much higher. Almost needs to jump to throw. Joe Frazier made a career out of doing that.
Yeah, but Joe Frazier had upper body movement. He made himself even smaller, yet quick, explosive left hooks. You know, that's the reason, you know, you would think that he was ducking down too low where he couldn't jump up and hit you. Frazier made a career out of that.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're not getting punched in the temple there, right?
You know, guys like Joe Frazier, Dwight, Bobby Muhammad, a lot of short fighters, they know how to fight small. And it's a talent, you know, whenever you're that small, if you got the skill, you got the speed, you got the strong back where you can actually bend, and you can make a career out of fighting taller fighters.
Good uppercut there right at the bell. We got a packed house tonight, an absolute sellout, and they'll be here till early in the morning. The main event scheduled to walk at 5:45 a.m. Mike, that's way past your bedtime.
I don't know about mine. Definitely Sergio's, though.
I've been sleeping a lot.
Lots to do here outside the arena as well. They've got the fan zone, punch the bag, put on the VR goggles, eat, drink, and be merry. It's always a good time here in Riyadh. And this is a city not quite like Vegas, but the bright lights, and no one goes to bed until, what, 6, 7 in the morning. All the restaurants are open all night long.
The restaurants are opening. The
Estás haciendo
coffee
bien esa
shops,
derecha.
tea
tirando
shops,
más
hookah
recta,
lounges.
tómala. Te está bien de vez en cuando, pero de vez en cuando cambias en la derecha. Okay.
It's okay now and again, but make sure you land in shots, you know?
Seconds out. Round 2.
Round 2 scheduled for 6. Our previous fights were 4-rounders. So we're inching up, and of course the main card tonight, all 4 of the fights will be scheduled for 12 rounds. Which fight, Mike, are you most looking forward to?
Tough to pick just one, Todd. I think the fight that could steal the show is Bam Rodriguez versus Fernando Martinez. That has action written all over it.
Yeah, I think maybe the sleeper fight's the one right out of the gate. Noakes in action against Abdullah Mason. Both of those guys full of confidence, Sergio, and they both think they're going to get a knockout.
You know what? It's not going to bring the same weight as, say, a Brian Norman and Haney, but yes, I agree with you. Whenever you have undefeated fighters like that, they're so hungry from different parts of the world. You know, they want to defend that. Oh, and they're fighting for a world championship. So I agree with you, man. I think Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason is going to be something special.
Yeah, Abdullah Mason, 21 years old.
Always looking for a knockout, both fighters too. So don't expect them to get defense.
Really pulling for Pius Mpenda, who's giving him something to cheer about here in round 2.
Yeah, he does, because he finally made himself even smaller, broke that distance, and went straight to the body of the taller fighter.
Yeah, these guys are really starting to trade in here now. Best Mexico versus Africa fight I can think of. Abner Mares versus Joseph Abeco. I think our friend Mares threw about 30 low blows in that fight.
He pulled an Andrew Galata.
Foul.
Julio Porras, 24 years old. Still plenty of time to grow into that big frame. As you mentioned, Zurdo Ramirez started his career at 168. Now he's at 200 as a cruiserweight and has even talked about going up to heavyweight eventually. Looking forward to seeing Zurdo back in the ring, coming off the surgery. Rumors are he might be in action in February, or in January rather. Nothing booked yet.
Nice step back by Julio Porras. That shows his athleticism. He stepped back, bent his knees, made himself smaller, and threw a right uppercut. That's how you do it responsibly, by checking your technique, being out of range of the smaller fighter, and a sharp one shot.
Some news for you, Todd, right here. I'm hearing that Zurdo could be fighting Robin Safar next.
Really?
Obviously, he had that knockout of Sergey Kovalev.
You are the insider. Yeah, we saw Safar in action recently. Went the distance against a fighter we thought he was going to knock out. Sergio had some trouble.
Yeah, I think he's going to evolve and learn from that fight, because he has a lot to offer, man. I like Robin Safar. I like everything I see with him. Just taking it to another gear. But I'm glad he's getting a big fight.
We were just talking about our first fight of the main card, Sam Noakes versus this man, Abdullah Mason, in the building. And Mike, a chance in history for him tonight. He wins, he becomes the youngest title holder in the world.
Yeah, it's an incredible feat. People have had their eyes on him for a long time in boxing. Talked to a lot of people in the industry, Todd, and they all say this guy could be the pound-for-pound king one day.
And we're seeing the next generation, because Bam Rodriguez became the youngest champion in boxing. Devin Haney was a young, undisputed champion, and now we have Abdullah Mason to become the youngest now. So it's a bright generation for boxing, and it's looking great.
That is for the vacant WBO lightweight world title right out of the gate on our main card, coming up later tonight.
Bonus 10 seconds.
That is part of the Ring 4 Night of the Champions. Buy it now, DAZN.com/boxing. And of course, it's also part of our ultimate package. One low price, and you get over 12 pay-per-views a year, including 185 other fight cards here on DAZN.
That's what I want to see more from Mpenda. You know, stabbing at the body of the long torso of Porras.
You know, a lot of small fighters you don't think about them throwing the jab, but Mike Tyson even said the most important punch for me was my jab.
Yeah, but you have to have quick feet. You know, the thing about Mike Tyson, he was explosive with his feet. He would square up, he would turn southpaw, and then he would double and triple jab his way in. That's something short fighters need to do, not just throw one jab. got to double, triple up the jab. You have to have fast feet to break that range and distance.
Are you seeing anything special from Porras that makes you think maybe he could be somebody?
Not yet. Quick hands. He's responsible with his range. He fights responsibly, but no wow factor yet. But it's difficult fighting short fighters like Mpenda, so you know it takes a while to adjust. And with fighters like Mpenda, you just gotta be happy with the jab. You know, alternating speed and power of the jab. Using the entire ring, you know, throwing straight right hands. No combinations with shorter fighters, you know. You don't give them a chance to loop something or punch in between the shots. Keep it with twos and fews.
Well, anytime Mpenda can get close and land a punch, the crowd will respond. They're cheering for the David in this David and Goliath matchup.
That was a good stabbing jab by Porras. It's rare you see such a tall fighter like that jab to the gut of a much smaller opponent. Ooh, good shot there by Mpenda. Again.
The crowd, I told you, they come to life. They want to see Mpenda pull off the upset here.
Mpenda set that looping shot with 2 body shots downstairs, got the elbows down and the guard down on Porras, and he came over the top. Sly fighters of Mpenda.
Yeah, Sergio, you just called it moments ago, right? When you're the shorter fighter, you're taller, you have to be wary of that.
Still to come, our featured preliminary fight, Vito Milnicki Jr. and Samuel Moa. A lot of back and forth talk yesterday or the day before at the press conference between those two. Milnicki, nicknamed White Magic. Let's see if he can improve on that 21-1 record. There's a right hand from Mpenda.
It's a great round by Mpenda. Mpenda looked good right here.
And we say hello ringside. Todd Grisham, Sergio Mora, and Mike Coppinger here. No Chris Mannix this week. How do you feel about that?
Well, we're here with the legend, Mike Coppinger, who is a good dresser, good commentator, and a good writer. So I'm glad Mike's here.
Happy to be here,
We miss you, Chris.
Chris on not daddy duty yet, but eventually daddy duty, as his wife, Sinisa Estrada, is due almost any day now. So salute and hello from Riyadh, and good luck to you guys out in California.
Papa Mannix.
Do we have to get him a baby gift, by the way? Is that...
I'm not getting him nothing.
Bonus 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 4.
All right, we're in round 4, scheduled for 6. Let's see if one of these guys can land a consequential punch to really get this place heating up, because it is cold in here, I'll tell you that.
Well, I like the way Mpenda finished the last round. It seems like he's getting closer and closer to getting what he wants to do, and that's breaking that distance, not fighting at the long range of Porras, and of course, looping the shots. But it starts with body shots that Mpenda did on both sides. See right there, he tried to loop the shot, but he didn't set up with body shots.
Just past midnight local time here in Riyadh.
Good thing they have strong coffee out here, right?
Yeah, how many cups of coffee have you guys drank today, by the way?
I'm going on number 6.
Wow. You're addicted.
No, I just love the coffee, and I slept a lot.
Like one of our first trips over here, Sergio went to a beverage stand, took a sip of it, said, "This is some of the best coffee I've ever had." And the guy who gave it to him said, "It's tea."
Classic.
There's the shot.
Right hand from Mpenda.
Man, getting really close to landing that solid. I'd love to see if he lands it clean on the tempo. I want to see how the legs of Porras are going to respond. But Mpenda's getting closer and closer. See that?
Yep. And you see Porras has those hands down.
Yeah, Porras just needs to jab, man. He's in there with a stubborn, short, explosive fighter in Mpenda, so just be happy keeping him on the outside of that long range. Double and triple that jab. Try to set him up with that big right hand.
And it was actually just the anniversary earlier this week of that incredible knockout, Sergio Martinez, when he looped that shot against Paul Williams, the taller man.
Knockout of the year, face down on the canvas. Mpenda, 5 knockouts in his 11 wins, so not a ton of power, but he has got some KOs under his belt. He just ate one there.
Mpenda has the right idea. You know, he's punching between the shots of the longer arm Porras. He's trying to time that overhand right. He keeps inching that front foot closer and closer. You know, not being at mid or long range. Clever fighter, Mpenda.
Yeah, doesn't seem like a lot to be excited about for Porras. Really hasn't put his stamp on this fight.
Yeah, he neglected the jab. You know, he's pawing the jab out there, but I would be busting up the shorter fighter with the jab, man. Just, you know, punching from the taller stance, making yourself a little smaller, but everything behind that jab, you know, make him run into the hard shots, alternate it with speed, with flicking jabs, and then surprise him with the shotgun jab. But if you're hooking with a smaller fighter, I mean, it's only going to be a matter of time before the smaller fighter beats you with a hook.
Coming up next, Muhammad Al-Akel from Saudi Arabia, unbeaten, 6-0 in action. He'll be taking on Jiaming Li from China. Sergio, he seems to be getting better and better every time we see him.
No, I do. Yeah, I really like Al-Akel, and it started with, you know, the punch placement. You know, when he first started, the footwork was fine, but he was quick to punch. He wasn't turning them. He wasn't turning the knuckle, keeping his elbow in. He was focusing on speed. Now he's focusing more on technique, and behind technique is going to come the power. And credit to Abel Sanchez for slowing him down, you know, turning the punches and minding your technique before the power comes.
Mike, you spend a lot of time in this country. Can you imagine if someone like Muhammad Al-Akel was to one-day challenge for a world title? He wouldn't be fighting in an arena, he'd be fighting in a stadium.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the fights they're having here now, right?
Round 5.
His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, it's a dream of his and a passion project to crown a champion. So Sultan Muhammad and Muhammad Al-Akel train with Abel Sanchez.
That fight is next. Some work to do here. We're in round 5, scheduled for 6. Do you think Mpenda's won a round yet, guys?
Maybe one, yeah, but he's in several rounds, and especially the later rounds.
Well, if he's got one round, if he wins the last 2, could have a draw. There's that right hand.
There's that right hand, and that's because Porras let him in. He let him in too close, and that's credit to Mpenda.
Oh. That time he led in with a jab, which created the opening, and this right. Right now.
Looping both shots now because now he already figured it out. He got the formula. He broke that long distance. He's inside the reach. So now he's looping both hands and landing cleanly. You can see Porras didn't like those shots now in the back foot boxing.
And he's doing a nice job, I think, of dipping his head when he throws the overhand shot.
That's what you have to do. You know, you got to tuck that chin in and swing for the fences, but do it responsibly.
You threw a lot of those against, I think I was Alfredo Angulo.
No, I threw a lot of those, period, because I would make myself small. There you go. That's a shot right there. I learned that shot when I was watching, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns. You know, Tommy Hearns was winning every round. It was like the later in the fight, you're blowing it, son. It was that overhand right to the taller Hearns, and that changed everything for Sugar Ray.
And now you see some blood trickling from the nose of Julio.
Right his way back. This is not where he wants to be. In close, and he hit another right hand. This is the best round of the fight by far for Pius and Mpenda.
Oh, and he's rocking Porras. He's not only has he rocked him, but he shook him. Now Porras is thinking twice about throwing his own punches.
Maybe this will wake the Mexican up a little bit. Kind of treating this like a sparring session. Good uppercut there.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw that uppercut. Now that Mpenda's already landing those overhand shots, that's the last punch you want to throw, is that lead uppercut. You leave your chin exposed, and it's not a good look for technique for the taller fighter who's getting rocked.
Porras with a combination there. Haven't seen a ton of those from him. Yeah, every time Mpenda comes in with the jab, he gets some successful shots to land after it.
Yeah, that's the punch you should be landing right now. You know, you gotta hide that overhand right. You know, Porras has already felt it. He's expecting it. Now you gotta hide it. You gotta be more, manipulate your opponent into that overhand shot and do that with jabs and quick feints.
Big round for the Tanzanian.
This round good, Mpenda. Good one. This round good. Last round more push. This round you're good. This round okay. But stop it. Stop it, brother. You need to stop him. Stop him. Okay, stop him, please. Understand? You want water?
There's an uppercut coming around the guard, alternating the attack by the shorter fighter Mpenda. And there's the shot right there. All three punches in the book. Uppercut, right hook, and then looping shot over the top. Clean shot. You can see that Porras is feeling those punches. He got the respect. Mpenda needs to continue doing this and attacking the taller fighter.
Bonus 10
Obviously,
seconds.
Mpenda won that round. You hear his corner telling him, stop him.
And that shot was right on the temple, Sergio. It doesn't matter how good your chin is. You get hit on the temple, you could go down very easily.
Absolutely, especially for tall fighters. You know, they're not accustomed to getting hit with looping shots by shorter fighters. Their legs betray them sometimes.
That's what happened against Anthony Joshua, right? When he fought Andy Ruiz, another shorter fighter.
That's what happens with taller fighters, period, because, you know, they don't take the looping shots as comfortable as the shorter fighters. They can't hide it. See, all you needed to see sweat flying, you heard the crowd too.
He felt that one.
Just like Joseph Parker and Bacoli right here in Riyadh.
There you go.
So what's your strategy if you're Porras right now, Sergio, after coming off that tough round 5?
I would go back to the basics, and that's the jab. I mean, you got all that height, you got all that reach. You just got to flick that jab out there. You make the shorter fighter who's already getting aggressive, let him run into your jab. Bust them up with that jab. But see, that's all he's been doing, Porras. He's just been flicking that jab, touching that jab, poking that jab, but he's not really committing to that jab.
No doubt about it, Mpenda has to win this round. It still might not be enough. Mpenda now the one pressing forward.
Just missed a big right uppercut of Mpenda.
He's swinging for the fences, and he has to. That's what his corner told him to do.
He should. Momentum has changed. Now it's Mpenda going forward, being the aggressor, looking for the big shots.
Julio Porras certainly lucky that this is only a 6-round fight.
Nice shot. And again, and Porras is leaving himself wide open as he follows through with these power punches.
Yeah, momentum has definitely changed. This is Mpenda's round, and the momentum has switched. You can see that Porras is respecting and backing up, feeling the hands of Mpenda.
Good thing this isn't an 8-rounder, or Porras would be in some real trouble losing on the cards.
Yep, that's what Cobb just mentioned. I agree.
Left there for Porras. I'm having trouble rolling my R's the more I say Porras. Sorry, Sergio.
You're doing all right.
Rare body shot from Mpenda. Surprised he hasn't been going downstairs more often.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. I mean, that should be the MO of very stout fighters, short fighters that are accustomed to being a lot shorter and smaller than their opponents. The body's the way to go.
And that will do it as Porras bounces off the ropes. So you've got to believe Mpenda most likely won those last 2 rounds, but did he sneak one of the first 4? and earn a draw? We'll find out here momentarily. But want to remind you of what's coming up straight ahead on our main event of the evening. Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. This is Haney's first fight at 147, and he goes right after a champion, Sergio. Do you agree with that strategy?
I agree with the guts of Devin Haney, and you can just look at his resume. This guy hasn't, he hasn't avoided anyone. It's champion after champion. You gotta give the kid credit, man. He turned a dream into reality.
Not a lot of happy faces in the corner of Porras right now, and for good reason.
And you asked me early in the fight if I'm impressed with what I'm seeing, and I couldn't really pick out anything, Todd, because there's a lot of work to be done with Julio Porras right now. And one of the things is upper body movement. The thing about Mexican fighters, they have great upper body movement. They work on their lower back. They know how to go under punches. Porras was a little bit too stiff. Didn't use the jab enough. Fought to the smaller man's stature and got hit with those looping shots. It wasn't a type of performance where you can go away and say, all right, there's something to work with there. There's a lot that Julio Porras needs to work on.
Let's hear what the judges had to say, and for that, we're back in the ring with Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all 3 judges, Mike Ross, Mike Fitzgerald, and Pavel Hennick, are in agreement. They all scored the same, 57-57. This bout is a unanimous draw.
Well, there you go. He did win one of those early rounds, Sergio.
Yes, he did, and I'm glad the judges gave him credit for it. This wasn't a good performance by the undefeated Julio Porras. And Mpenda, I mean, what can you ask for? He was a B-side. He was brought here to lose, and a draw is a victory for the Tanzanian fighter.
Well, it's been quite a year here on DAZN. We've had some incredible nights across the globe, and 2026 promises more of the same.